Hi, it's Monday. It's 3 o'clock. Welcome to Together Unlocked, brought to you as always by Together 2012. We're an arts organisation in the main London 2012 Paralympic host borough of Newham. We're disabled artists. I'm Ju Gosling, also known as Ju 90, and I'm the artistic director. With me in my East London studio, where she's been locked down with me and various animals since March, is our chair, the artist, documenter, and I should also say, of course, a very lifelong campaigner, Julie Newman. Over at the other end of our long wheeled virtual sofa in the West Midlands, well, I'll let you introduce yourselves and also give us a bit of audio description, including of your splendid new background.
Okay, so good afternoon. Welcome to the first full week of Lockdown 2. I'm sure you're all tremendously excited to be here with us. Uh, so, I am Robin Surgeonator. I'm business director at Together 2012 and an artist known as Angry Fish. You will see behind me, for those of you who can see, otherwise, I'm going to tell you, a beautiful new burgundy plush blackout um, backdrop, actually. Yeah, but it's also really warming. It's very strange. We've gone from our marquee to our lovely thermally draped studio, and I can feel the warmth already, which is lovely because it's horrible outside in Sutton Coldfield. And just a little bit about my how I look today. I have very shiny silvery. It almost looks blonde in this light, so I'm going with that. I don't know what color that makes Josh. We'll find out shortly. Uh, Hair in a slightly. No, I'm going for indie band look today. And I have no rimmed black armed glasses. I am cleanly shaven. I am wearing a round necked purple t shirt, and there is a logo on my left breast, which is for Orion Swimming Club, because pretty soon after we finish this show, Josh and I, it was not a Zoom, this show, Josh and I will be doing a land work session with our swimmers because we can't go swimming.
Hi, I'm Josh Surgeonator. I'm one of the other hosts of Together Unlocked. I'm a currently very busy PhD student because we seem to have loads of work on at the moment because we can't go out and do anything. So we've got to do everything pre-recorded and send that out to all of the poor undergrads that are locked in their flats. Um, and my audio description, I do have blonde hair. If yours is blonde, I think that makes you colorblind rather than anything else because it is certainly white. Although I will say our new background, which is kind of royal box red, I think, is I'm going to say it's reflecting the light because it's making my hair look considerably redder than it actually is. Uh, Normally there is a ginger beard to kind of disagree with my claim that I'm blonde, but I shaved it off earlier, so that's not there either. And I am wearing a very blue sweatshirt that has a grey hood or grey lined hood and white kind of tassely bits, drawstrings, whatever they're called.
Yes, I think we'll leave it at that, shall we? Julie, who are you? What do you look like?
I'm Julie Newman. I'm wondering if this microphone's working.
Yes.
It's
It
back.
is. Great, thank you. Phew, eh? I'm the chair of Together 2012. I'm wearing long hair. Um, I'm wearing gold and silver hair currently. I have dark rimmed glasses. I also have a white t shirt on with a picture on the front of an enormous cat. Let me just make myself available to the thing. It's a sort of lovely Japanese style, traditional style of Mount Fuji, with some pretty blue trees, and I can't really see terribly well, but it looks like trees and water. Um,
Yes, it's the famous wave painting, but with a cat kind of somehow
it
as
look like
part of
Mount
it.
Fuji from where I'm sitting? No, you're right. It's a wave, and that's way. That's quite a traditional, uh, beautiful image actually. But it's got a large cat looking down with the sun behind it, gingery cat, and at the bottom is another ginger cat with some writing in Japanese, which I can't understand.
Yes, we're all a bit rubbish at doing the audio description because we never seem to know what we're wearing until we're
So
actually
true.
got there, and then we can't see it.
Well, you're lucky you don't have anything written on yours.
Ah, but you're wrong. No, it's just on the arm you can't see on camera. So I'm Ju Gosling. I've got hennaed red hair in a self-inflicted corona crop. I've got black plastic glasses with green eyes, olive skin, black wrist braces, silver coloured jewellery, and a long sleeved purple t shirt. And you see, I'm just as bad as everybody else, but I believe it says on the sleeve and on the back, but not the front, Weekend Collective, which is actually not a label at all. I think it's just one of those made up things from the sort of cheap ASOS fashion pile. So that's what we're all wearing. Our backdrop, as usual, is the wonderful Together 2012 graffiti banner, of which you can only see a little bit, but it has drawings on it of all of the different arts that we cover in the course of the year. So that's everything from dance, drama, street art, carnival art, live art, visual art, music. Oh, photography, filmmaking, and much, much more. Since March, we've been running a join in from home program from our website and also on Zoom. And of course, this live stream, Together Unlocked, is part of it. So, a bit later, I'm going to play a video that will tell you a bit more about how you can join in with some of those activities, but all of the activities are on our website, www.together2012.org.uk. Also behind us is our Austrian teddy bear wearing a gold plastic medal.
Triumphantly.
Triumphantly. We still can't remember what he's called.
Hands.
But he won the Clockwork Paralympics, which is one of our regular Wednesday features. We race clockwork toys to see which teddy bear taking part in the worldwide virtual bear hunt will wear a gold medal. And our teddy bear in this game of chance managed to beat the Paralympian family yet again. So he is triumphantly wearing his plastic medal. But on Wednesday, we will have new competitors. Now, one of the regular features on our Friday show is Something for the Weekend, where we recommend things that you can do online and offline without going out. It doesn't really feel like lockdown 2 to me because we've been locked down in our little biosecure bubble since March. And in fact, our Saturday didn't really happen for some of the same reasons, which is we were going to have the flu jab and the GP was due to come round, and he didn't have adequate PPE. So there you are. We're kind of in a care home of our own without any care. So that was part of our weekend, what we didn't do. And I also spent a lot of time going through the final entries for our Together Disability Film Festival. Now, this week is the start of the Together 2020 Disability History Month Festival. And this year we have just called it a theme, which is of course making history. And we start on Thursday night with our event, The History Makers, where we'll also be celebrating and commemorating some of the artists that we've lost this year, whether that's to COVID or to other things. We've got an amazing week of events. In fact, let me just put on 15 seconds of video, which will just give you a very quick glimpse of what we've got up ahead. And we will be doing a much longer version of that with audio description. That is our TikTok video. Because these days you've got to start with TikTok and everything else takes second place. But we'll be telling you, well, unveiling really the film festival programme for the first time after 3:30. But first, what did you do at the weekend, guys? Did you follow up on any of the recommendations or did you do something completely different?
Actually, quite a lot of them. I mean, I with Josh, finalised my film for the film festival, and so hopefully that will be aired sometime around soon. Um, if for those of you who are here Friday, I talked about writing a kind of lockdown to bucket list, and I did my own metaphorical one. No, that was not the word at all. My own inside my head one. Maybe that is metaphorical. Anyway,
I think it's metaphorical, but it might be a kind of
mental
yeah,
list,
mental,
maybe.
mental. That's it. Obviously, having you
But-
go. I'll come back to it.
He's really embracing his artistic side because the list is a metaphor, guys. The list. I'm trying to remember what I even recommended for the weekend. We managed to watch kind of the latest episodes of Star Trek and Star Wars, because we're big nerds in this house, mainly driven by me, and corrupting M to be a nerd alongside me, so I've got someone to talk to. We finished the series that we talked about, the Queen's Gambit, which is the kind of limited series based on a book that we really enjoyed. And we played some. Was it yesterday? Yeah, we played some games yesterday evening, which was good fun. So we played Taboo. So if people know what that is, that's what we played.
So I guess that was quite a lot of our recommendations because it was things to watch on TV, things to join in with online. Of course, I think one of the recommendations that I put up and would like to flag up that this is happening all month is the Beautiful Octopus Club, which is a club that's led by and for people with learning difficulties. They launched their festival on Friday night. So they had a Friday night club on Zoom. On Saturday, they had an art exhibition. We looked at their website and the way that they have some really excellent things about what to do to prepare and what to bring with you. I know that some of ACT UP Newham went to those events, so I'm hoping to get a little bit of a review. But on our main website page, Together Unlocked TV, we have a pull down menu, and the first thing on it is our highlights and links page. And on that, we have links to indeed everything we recommended on Friday. But from now on, at the start of each of the day's links, I'm going to be putting up the link to that festival as well as the link to our own, and of course the international festival Dada Fest, which is coming up at the end of the month. We've got a fantastic month. In fact, it couldn't be a better month to be locked down enjoying disability arts online, because we have 3 amazing festivals, all of which have been able to go national for the first time and work together for the first time. So, yes, I just wanted to flag up that although I didn't get to Beautiful Octopus Club, I believe quite a lot of people enjoyed the start of the Beautiful Octopus Festival this weekend. What did you do, Julie?
I
Since I didn't really see you.
I know I didn't see you at all. It's sort of quite strange being in the same household, and there's this sort of non-existent figure sort of tucked into a corner, frantically going through films. You had a lot of films to go through, I must say, but I enjoyed Strictly Come Dancing very, very much. I enjoyed the sort of blog by Heidi Stevens at The Guardian. I think she's very, very clever and very funny. But it was a complete distraction. It had no relation to anything in my world whatsoever. And I think for that reason, I very much enjoyed it. I didn't watch a lot of television this weekend. I read a lot, and I've been working on a drawing using the Procreate, and that's this is the app that Josh and I were talking about a little while ago, which I actually went ahead and bought. So it's
Well, in that case, can I just interject and then we will move on to our regular Monday feature update and you can finish telling me about it. You're doing your picture for the Together Open exhibition,
I am.
which opens on Thursday. We're trying to have an equivalent throughout the festival of the things that we would do in physical venues. So, in physical venues, in the last 3 days, we're hanging the open exhibition. New work always arrives that we have to process a label for and quickly put into the catalogue. So the Together Open exhibition opens online this Thursday as part of our launch event. If you have a connection to Newham and you identify as a disabled artist, whether that's amateur, community, aspiring professional, semi professional, or professional, you're welcome to enter one family friendly work with guaranteed acceptance. And it's one of the things that always makes our open exhibition different, because instead of selecting as a competition, what we say is we will take everybody's if you've selected your own first and it's suitable for a family audience. And it just ends up with such a vibrant show, and you have no idea who the amateurs are, who the professionals are. And it really kind of also, therefore, questions a lot of things about art and just really celebrates that coming together. What we mean by Newham Connection is living, studying, working, volunteering, or maybe you did that in the past. So you can still send your photos in. I'm going to put up what we call a crawler on the bottom of the screen, although it doesn't crawl so much as kind of staggers and lurches depending on the signal. But our email address is just info@together2012.org.uk. I can probably give you till Wednesday morning if you have a picture to send in. But now I should hand back to Julie and to Josh for app date. So just tell us a little bit. This app is a drawing.
It's a drawing, painting, sketching, layering art application. I've looked at a few of the YouTube tutorials and practically flung them through the window. I just didn't find them terribly helpful. I'm better off reading instructions, I think, than trying to follow the speed of these YouTube tutorials. They're much too fast when they're doing sort of art things. So I'm learning it by doing it. In fact, it's interesting because I've got a couple of ideas that I want to finish the work with. It's not far off done, but I just can't quite get that what's needed.
I was going to say good, Julie, because that's for the open exhibition as well, isn't
Exactly,
it?
yes.
So, Josh, I know you said you had quite a bit for this. You've been talking to us over the last few weeks, well, in fact, over the last few months, about learning to draw with Photoshop.
Yeah, it's kind of been an ongoing process really since probably June time. I decided to kind of, I say learn how to draw, be better at drawing, because I've always kind of doodled and, you know, cubes and kind of 3D shapes and geometry type things, mainly when I'm on the phone or when I'm supposed to be listening in lectures. There's kind of all these lovely kind of fractally things down the side of my notes. I kind of made the decision to do that, and started out just kind of sketching with, you know, pencil and paper, and then kind of moved into trying to do it digitally, and certainly kind of coloring stuff in digitally, just because the freedom that you have on a computer to do something like that is far more than you have, you know, in physical life, you know, unless you have thousands and thousands of pounds with coloring materials, which I don't have the skill or money to justify buying. So the fact that I can kind of do it online and have every color and setting imaginable, and when it goes horribly wrong, I can just press undo and start again, meant that I could kind of really play around and learn with it. And I really enjoyed kind of doing it and learning the things that make a huge difference in making something look good, but actually aren't very complicated once you learn how to do it. For example,
Yes, sorry, I was going to say, can you give us an example? And you were about to.
I drew something a couple of weeks ago. It's not the greatest picture in the world, but I wanted to have a reflection. So it's kind of a die type image, and I wanted to have the reflection in what would be the sea. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a nightmare to draw it again all upside down and wavy. And I kind of went online and found a tutorial that very simply you select it all, copy and paste a version of it, flip it upside down and click a layer that says wavy, or kind of put different blurs on it. And then all of a sudden it looks like this kind of shimmering reflection in water. And, it took 2 minutes probably of just of knowing how to use those settings, and that's something I'd never be able to do without that. So yeah, it does give you a lot of kind of freedom to experiment and do things that are far beyond your skill level. That's probably the best description.
Yeah, I've always envied people who've got the hand-eye coordination, not just to be able to draw, because I think it's important for everybody to know that, to be able to draw, you've got to draw every day for at least a year. And that's been the sort of loud and clear message of people who've come to the art club to give us talks about that kind of thing. But yeah, my hand-eye coordination, I don't know whether it's because I've got astigmatism and also whether my fine motor control isn't so good. But if I go to draw a circle, it won't look like a circle. It will be a squashed circle, and I find that really frustrating. So being able to kind of control what you're seeing a bit more on the computer, I think, is really helpful. You were making me laugh about the undo, because of course we all use that, and also just deleting whole layers, because one of the things we talked about last week is if you work in layers, and you can think of them as sort of that a digital image, whether it's a photograph or a drawing, is almost like a set of sheets of tracing paper, and each sheet of tracing paper is known as a layer, and each thing you do occupies a different piece of tracing paper, so you can just pull them out if they go wrong, or if you've got one that you really like but you'd like to change color and reposition it, you can duplicate it, and so on and so forth. But the last David Hockney exhibition at the Tate, and I was actually really lucky because I got to go to the opening that David Hockney was at, but he's been a massive fan of iPad painting right from the start. And some of the exhibition, there were recordings of how he did the painting, because you can do screen recordings. So you saw it all building up, brush stroke by brush stroke. But I thought if it was you or me, it would be kind of, here it comes, here it goes, here it comes, here it goes, here it comes, here it goes, here it goes. Oh, and it would be such a long film in comparison to Hockney's. So yes, I think it's like you were saying about the videos. People record the stages, but when they're expert, it's so quick.
It is. I think it's okay. I mean, it's interesting because I've been using an Apple Pencil as well, and I've not used one of those before.
And what's the difference between that and a standard stylus? Because on a touch screen for an iPad or a tablet, you can either draw with your finger, or you can use a piece of plastic, which is kind of really just known as a stylus, but it is just really a piece of plastic. But the i1 now, the Apple one, is actually pressure sensitive, isn't it?
It is, and you can actually change the effect by pushing it down twice and so on. I'm learning. Please don't ask me more than that at the moment, but it is interesting.
That's okay, and that works on an iPad. Can you buy like is that what you like a thing? Can you use it with a laptop or an iMac?
No, well, possibly with an iMac, but it has to be a recent one. It's the latest intelligent pencil, they call it, that came out over the last year. There are ones that work with previous iPads and iMacs.
How would it work with an iMac? Does it turn into a mouse? Because the thing about working on an iPad is you're literally, because I mean, I tend to use, and I've said this before, I like the free finger painting apps. I actually find it easier to be drawing with my fingers than to be holding any kind of stylus. But that is going straight onto a touch sensitive screen. So I think for any other kind of drawing, Yeah, I mean, I guess the pressure sensitivity could still work. If anybody's watching and who knows and can let us know,
Yeah.
then you can watch on YouTube and just send us a live chat message.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Apple Pencil. I know what I've been using is I have it's called a graphics tablet. So that is a specific kind of trackpad or a piece of surface that has its own kind of pencil, and then that connects via a USB to my laptop.
Yeah, you could almost think of it as a plug-in mouse mat, couldn't you? You're kind of drawing on the area that a mouse would be on the mouse mat, and that's being translated.
With this pencil though, it's apparently you can write in handwriting onto the screen of the iPad and it translates it into words. I've tried it out and it's actually pretty accurate. I was surprised because my handwriting is a bit scribbly.
But I think that kind of handwriting recognition app technology has been around for quite a long time. I mean, I remember going back to the first handheld devices, which were known as Scions, and they came out in the mid 90s, so at least a quarter of a century ago. And for somebody like me who can't carry heavy weights, it was, everybody that I know with kind of that level of impairment just rushed out to buy one because all of a sudden you didn't have to lug books around. It's sort of like the equivalent now. So I'm not surprised they do that. I think the reality is that the cheapest way to do those kind of drawing apps is to use the touch sensitive screen on your phone or your tablet, or to use what Josh has got. I think the Apple Pencil is absolutely the other end in terms of money, isn't
Well,
it?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it was a lot of money, and I didn't spend it lightly, but it is something that I'm taking time over to try and learn properly. And I think when you do invest money in things, even if it's not a lot of money, I mean, $9.99 for Procreate, in the scheme of things, isn't as much as the professional Photoshop, but it's still worth taking the time to try it out and to see what different aspects of it are.
Yeah, I mean, most apps will either give you a fully functional demo version, which will last for up to a month, or have some kind of version that you can use without paying, and then what they call in-app purchases. Josh, what else did you have for us before we get to 3:30?
So the two other things around my new phone, I've been playing around with the camera a lot, and kind of it's called portrait mode, that the last few kind of iPhones have had, that does kind of autofocusing and it blurs the background and things. And I've mostly just taken pictures of the cats. Um, and I meant to send them in for today, but I just ran out of time. But I've been really enjoying that, and you've seen a few of them, and it's quite impressive how professional the output is from what is essentially a point and click on a smartphone.
Honestly, a couple of pictures. I think he took one of Emily, and just you'd think it was done in a studio. Just the clarity and the depth and everything is just astonishing.
Yes, I mean, I'm going in the opposite direction, having realised it's going to take me another 2 years to pay off my iPhone 11 Pro. I am not going to be trading up. I have gone over to a giff-gaff sim, and I will be spending 2 years paying off the iPhone 11 Pro and then not upgrading either. And I got that one purely on the grounds that the camera was much better, because we were doing a lot of documentation for work, and it's so much easier just to be able to pick up the phone as opposed to the camera. But as we're not doing physical events at the moment, only online events, that argument really didn't work with me.
Don't worry, I only have an iPhone 7, so you're still 4 iterations at least above me.
These students and their student loans coming back into the family home, showing off.
Can I just suggest for Josh very quickly before it's 3:30? I use a company called Snapfish, and you get an app, and if you use the Snapfish app, you get 50 free hard copies of your digital pictures per month. All you have to do is pay for the postage.
Okay.
And you do it through the app itself rather than sort of googling it. but the 50 free snaps come through beautifully, and you've got a choice of whether to do it gloss or matte, and they're very, very nice quality. And sometimes it's good to see something in your hand as well as on the screen.
Yeah, and I think with the holidays coming up and with lockdown on us, the other thing about getting physical copies, and of course they will print out the digital images that you produce as well. If you just save them as in the same format as you would be saving a photograph, they will also be printing out digital pictures for you. But it's something you can do something else with. I mean, I just really like collage. So I have a lot of collages around the house of, photos and cards that people have sent me and so on. Given that we can't go out, it's a really good time to go, well, I'll polish my photographic skills, but I can't actually go out to take any photos. So once I've exhausted the possibilities of the cats, I will go back to my old photos, select some for printing, and then just think about what you can do with them. So, just finally on app dates, because we started this very much linked to the NHS COVID-19 app, and because it's lockdown, we have a poem from one of our regulars, Steraplergia. So, I'm just going to play this.
Waiting to go out by Stera. All of us are meeting on the computer. We are happy, waiting to go out. No, we are not together. No. Meeting. Not going out for dinner. No dancing. Not happy. Angry and sad.
And I think Stera summed up people's feelings very well about that. Stera did that poem for us at our Zoom Together, which is our monthly open mic poetry and music night on the first Thursday of each month. And she recorded that for us over the weekend. So thank you again, Stera, and thank you, Hannah. So, fortunately, as I said, we have an awful lot to do over, not an awful lot, a wonderful lot to do over the next 5 weeks with our festival, and also, of course, the beautiful Octopus Club Festival and Dada Fest. But before that, I'm going to put on a short video to tell you more about how you can join in from home with our, very full program of arts activities that span all sorts of different art forms as well. Together 2012 is running a Join In From Home programme from our website, together2012.org.uk. Click on the link at the top of the page, Join In From Home, to go straight to the main page where you have a wide range of accessible, inclusive creative activities, mostly using things that you would already have at home. At the top of the page and throughout the pages, you will also see videos in British Sign Language to translate the site for deaf people. These videos can also be useful if you have difficulties reading and you simply want to hear more of the content. The Join In From Home programme is based on the activities that we would usually be running in East London. Dance Club usually meets on the fourth Monday of each month, and they create improvised masked dance for the screen. Here you can also see their very first film, where they simply made masks from paper plates, covered themselves with fabric, and just moved gently to the music. You can hear as well, there's an improvised soundtrack. So we're suggesting that you make a mask out of anything you can think of. It could be a cardboard box, a paper bag, a paper plate, as in here. Video yourself dancing in it and then share the video with us. We will show it on screen and we will also enter it into the dance programme of our film festival, which we run every December. If you're temporarily or permanently chair-based, there's also a warm-up you can do here created by our associate wheelchair dance company Folk in Motion, and that focuses on relaxing your upper body and improving your breathing. The Photographers and Filmmakers Club usually meets on the second Monday of each month. We're inviting you to make a video at home with the theme of home and share it with us. You can use a phone or a camera, make any kind of film you wish, including drama, documentary, dance, animation, artist films, comedy, and they'll be eligible for a CAT award at our December Film Festival. You can also watch with us from home. In addition to Together 2012 TV with Together Unlocked and other live streams, we have the Together Disability Film Festival highlights. Each year we run the International Together Disability Film Festival in Stratford, bringing together a wide range of films by disabled filmmakers, as well as films about disability issues and disabled people. We always publish the programmes online with links to the films that are freely available. So we invite you to revisit our recent film festivals from the comfort of your own home and also to send us reviews of those films. And finally, you can sit back, relax and enjoy videos of past live performances, artist talks and creative workshops that we've produced in the past here. So, for example, from past festivals, we have documentation and films of creative dance workshops, street art performances, dances that the dance club have created, dance performances, and of course, we're continuing to add new activities on a regular basis. And that was our Join In From Home programme. I was just grinning, Julie, when it started because of how much your hair has grown since the photograph was taken in March. Inexplicably, neither Julie nor Josh really want us to cut their hair. Robin's the only one who's been able to venture out for a haircut over the summer. But the other two are just growing theirs in very similar styles, although poor Julie's always goes, well, let's just say it's not very photogenic, but I don't think the original one was either.
That is just so nice, isn't it, Julie?
I know, it's dreadful, isn't it? I see that photo popping up on the video and I think she's got a sprout on top of her head.
Mind you, I mean, I can be much more
deprecating.
That will do, yeah. Critical, in as much as there's a picture that I took of Josh and us quite early, and I look like I'm twice the size I am now, and I'm like, I can't believe I had allowed myself to not lose weight before that point.
Oh, well, if we could all move on from our angst over our lockdown looks, it's time to talk about this year's
not
film
anxious.
festival.
Can I just say,
my
my hair may grow, but my hair does grow.
And
That's what happens in life.
I said
mine was lockdown largesse.
no, clearly we're not going to move on from haircuts, but we will. Because if anybody can cut their own hair with the dog clippers and still go on air with it, which I'm doing, I think the rest of you can just cope. So, our film festival always takes place at the beginning of December. But having said that, it's slightly earlier this year. It's usually the first week, it's usually the second weekend, but this year, because of the way the dates fall, it's the first weekend. So it actually starts on Thursday, the 3rd of December, which is International Day of Disabled People. So that's a really good, I think, time for it to be starting. Usually we have a 2-day workshop on the Thursday and Friday daytime for filmmakers. What we're doing this time round is going more than an hour at a time on Zoom is too much for anybody. So what we have is a program of 1 hour sessions that we thought would be really helpful to disabled filmmakers, and they're accessible to you whether you're an aspiring filmmaker making your first film with your camera, or whether you're a professional filmmaker with decades under your belt. So on the Thursday morning, we're going to start by looking at where you can get funding to make your films. So the Arts Council are going to do an hour talking about their new project funding, and applications for that are open until April. And you can apply for over £100,000. So they'll also be talking about what would make them fund your film, as opposed to the British Film Institute, who distribute their funding. They're also known as the BFI, which might be more familiar. And they distribute funding through regional organisations like Film London. So Film London are going to come along and talk about the funding you can apply for from the BFI and what would make you eligible for that. And then in the afternoon, we've got the first of 2 sessions, which are practical tips, learning from other people about how they've successfully made a film during COVID. We haven't confirmed, we're hoping for a very exciting guest, but that hasn't been confirmed. But that session will be taking place from 3 to 4. Then on the Friday morning, we have the unions coming in to look at how they can support disabled filmmakers. So we have BEC2 first, which is the production union, and they're going to talk about what they offer to people in any aspect of production work. And then Equity are going to do an hour as the actors union, not just to talk to disabled actors about how they can support them, but also to filmmakers about what we should be doing to treat our disabled actors, and indeed all actors, correctly. Then in the evenings, we have some really special events for absolutely everybody. So on Thursday, we have an hour at 7 o'clock with Justin Edgar. And Justin runs 104 Films, which is the leading production house in the UK for disabled filmmakers. They hold the official BFI funding for disabled filmmakers. Justin has an exhibition opening as part of the broader festival with us this Thursday. So he's going to be talking about that exhibition, but also answering questions more generally. And then on Friday night, the festival proper starts with an evening which is going to be absolutely great. It's about powerful women. So on the Friday afternoon, our second filmmaking in the age of COVID session is going to be run by Vicky Reeford Sinnott, who was interviewed on the show a few weeks ago about their film Funny Peculiar, Funny Women, Funny Peculiar. I'm getting very mixed up today. But we will be seeing that. We will be seeing Diverse Voices production of The Knitting Circle and a range of other shorts. And then Saturday and Sunday, we effectively have the same time slots through the day, and we have a very, very similar programming theme to the usual, which is we group things together. We don't usually use themes. We say, these are the documentaries, these are the short dramas, these are the animations, these are the dance films, because we know that people haven't got unlimited time, and everybody tends to have favorite areas that they're working on that they enjoy. So both weekend days 1 to 2 will be animate, and that will be the animation program. Then we have from 2 to 3 We Are Deaf and Disabled People, and that's basically short documentaries. From 3 to 4 we have 2 more sessions under the theme of crossing boundaries. So as with Justin Edgar's exhibition, it's about exhibitions and work that we're showing elsewhere in the festival, where films are central, but they're not just about films. You know, it's about art galleries, it's about online work. So Saturday we have Sign Dance Collective International talking about In Between Spaces, which is a film-based project on the internet that also involves live performance. And then on Sunday we've got Shadowlight artists talking about the Luminous Exhibition, and again that's a series of films, physical artwork. Some of it's taking place in galleries, some of it's taking place online. So it's really looking at how film crosses boundaries into the art world, crosses boundaries onto social media. And then following that, we have an hour of dance, we have each day, we have an hour of short dramas, which we're calling short stories, and then we have our evening program of nighttime stories and a little night music. And that's effectively more feature length programming, plus things with a little bit more of an adult theme, and our music videos, which are also always very popular. So that is the festival. The program is now online, linked through from the Together 2020 Disability History Month Festival main page. If you click through to the film festival and then click through to the program, you'll find all of the booking links on Zoom. Now, as with the rest of the festival, you can watch the weekend and the evening program simply by going to our website or by going to YouTube. But the Zoom events you need tickets for, and the daytime events won't be streamed, although we will be putting the recordings out later. And that's so that people can ask questions about their project or about their situation without that being broadcast. So we will be cutting out any commercially sensitive or personally sensitive information before the recordings for Thursday and Friday go up. But if you can't be there and you want the information about the union or the funding or both, that will be available as part of the recording.
Can I just be clear about one thing? Because there was a little bit of a muddle this morning. And that is that when Ju talks about the Thursday, that's Thursday, the 3rd of December, Friday, the 4th of December, Saturday, the 5th of December, and Sunday, the 6th of December, because that's different from what's happening this Thursday, isn't it?
Yes, this Thursday, as we said earlier, we've got the launch of the festival. So that also is on Zoom, but as with the rest of the events, like I just said, you can watch them simply by watching on YouTube. They'll be on our website with live captions, as with this program, and they'll also be just on the main YouTube channel, which is Together 2012 CIC. But if you want to join in and you want to ask questions and, just have that sort of excitement of going through the virtual doors into the virtual space and, yes, just being a little bit more central, then you need to book on Zoom. And the links are all there. It's a relatively straightforward process. We're going through a site called Eventbrite. Many people may be signed up to it already. I think you don't need an account to be able to book a ticket, but it does make it actually quicker if you sign up for one, if you're going to book multiple tickets. And then you will simply be sent the Zoom link about 48 hours before the event.
Amazing.
When I talk about International Day of Disabled People being the 3rd of December, that's exactly what we're talking about.
I mean, I think that the program is it's so full and so many opportunities for people to get involved and actively involved, as you're saying, would be artists, people with project ideas who may not even yet know how to progress them, have just gone, I've got this great idea for this, and whatever it is, and we're sharing that, and I think that's so important because often people are very protective of information. And we tend not to be. I mean, taking into account the sensibilities around copyright and commercial ideas, but I think it's really fundamental part of who we are, that we are there to empower.
Absolutely. And also the idea that you can be at any level. We start on the basis with our year-round clubs program as well, that everybody has something to teach and everybody has something to learn. And that's and we try to organize things so that they are accessible to people, wherever they are on that personal creative journey. But yes, I don't think it's very helpful, particularly in something like filmmaking. One of the things the BFI says about filmmaking is that it's a collaborative art form. It's not about one person. I mean, actually, I kind of slightly disagree with them, because I think in terms of artist films and less funded documentaries, it is about one person who's the writer, producer, director, because there's nobody else that you can do. But if you want funding, one of the things they made clear in a funding session about 3 years ago at the festival is they do expect at least 2 people to be named on that application. They say very much about collaboration. So it is about sharing. And of course, particularly these days, if you can skill swap, instead of being very, very kind of protective and sensitive, if you can say, well, I could edit your project if you could act as camera person on mine, or if you lend me this camera, I'll be able to do this website for you. It really gets you a lot further forward if you're working together. As we always say, we do what it says on the tin. We really do believe that we're better off together.
I mean, and probably, in our lockdown times, assuming you aren't shielding on your own, you've got somebody who may be sat next to you right now or whatever, but it's still collaborative, whether they're bringing you the tea, however you put it in, that collaboration is simply about working together, and who does what can possibly be less clear sometimes, as long as it is genuinely involving others to bring the project to reality.
Yes, I think there's always a lot of people who perhaps aren't credited in the way that they should. One of the things we have to do, because otherwise the program would be hundreds of pages long, is say there's one person named as the filmmaker. But of course, that's very, very rarely the case in reality. One of the things that I think Vicky, and possibly depending on which guest confirms first, in terms of the practical sessions about filmmaking, is how people have used other people in the same household to operate cameras and things. And that's been quite a common thing. So I know Gardener's World, which have been shooting live, they've been using an awful lot of partners, people who've been trained up to use cameras. Obviously, given the number of people currently out of work in the creative industries, we would not want that to continue forever. It's not the same just pointing a very fixed kind of simple camera as having a proper camera trained operator. But in this day and age, and particularly as low budget filmmakers who wouldn't be paying necessarily professional camera people in the first place, then yes, I think we should exploit everybody around us, and particularly any students who've moved home.
Students that with nice cameras as well.
Yes, yes. Well, you'll just have to argue that one out for yourself.
As much as it is Dad's film, I do think I get the credit where it's due, though figuratively and literally, because I also wrote the credits for the film. So I put myself in for the things that I did.
And
So,
also, I believe Dad cooks, which is slightly better than getting some naff, overpriced little brown bag full of stuff dropped off for you to microwave. But on that happy note, as you saw from the film, one of the things that we look at on a Monday is dance and exercise. There's a real limit to what we can do on the live stream. But what we do on a Monday is join Arwa from our associate theatre company, Act Up Newham, for a bit of a relaxation and meditation. Arwa is running her own yoga channel on a Saturday morning, which we'll put the link into on the highlights and links page. So that's if you want to do a whole hour of relaxation, I think it's more or less depending on how relaxed Arwa feels, and indeed how relaxed Hannah feels, because at the moment she has to record it all over Zoom. You see, you don't have to be in the same house to be doing somebody else's camera work. But I'm going to stop now and just say on Wednesday we have Jess Starnes coming onto the show. It will officially be the first thing that we'll be doing as part of the festival. Jess has got 5 places open to join her for a virtual walk on Google Street View, which will later be shared with the rest of the world. If you have a special place you'd love to visit, or there was a special time that you would like to revisit, listen out for Jess on Wednesday. But from now in London, it's goodbye from us. Stay home, stay creative, and stay well.
And exactly the same from the West Midlands. Have a great couple of days, and we'll see you Wednesday.
We are good to start with a deep breath. And I want to take it and imagine that you in the a land of talking flowers, and they are talking to you like they know you already. But the one special flower that can talk. See, all the other flowers, they talk. But the one special flower that can talk. And it's already know your name. It knows everything about you. So you pick up the special flower and you put it in your hand and you feel at peace with yourself. You feel at one with nature. So you and the special flower go for a little walk around the island. So you do it for a walk with the special flower. And then you come onto a waterfall. And so you decide to dive into the waterfall. And you are having the time of your life. It's just you and the talking flower under the waterfall. And you're there having the time of your life. And you're not thinking that nothing. You're not thinking that nothing. It's just you and a short. Then you and the flower are walking on the beach. So you come out of the water onto the beach. And you're leaving your protected island. And you are relaxed. You are calm. See, in life, we have sometimes when we are feeling down or upset or angry, this stays in your head. Nobody else knows exactly is other than you and the extra power. So you can go to the extra is as you might be alone. You took the extra power. The extra power knows everything about you.